in the world is nothing but deceit. Telling the truth is a revolutionary act. This is Modulus Volothan, Modulus Tautology, bringing you another cool episode. That's right, I call them programs. First, I got a deprogram, then I got a reprogram. Um, there's a lot going on, but nothing going on. And let's start off with the name Larisha Sherelle Thompson. That's number one right now. She's number one. And we'll get into more who she is and what happened and all of the whackness that's going on in our country, you know. But I'm here to tell y'all the truth. That's what a tautology is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be rhetoric. It's supposed to be the logical formation or mathematics, you know, to prove a statement true. Um, you know, whether or not that truth is false, that depends on God. And therein, people start getting afraid, you know. But nah, I'm here to do game theory. I'm here to celebrate life and enjoy these times with you. But this is a cool quote that I heard the other day. Orwell was the director or credited as saying it, but who knows who says what first? You know, that's what we talking about. But yeah, when the world is nothing but deceit, and that's what we in right now. I've been on my bringing up the Boy Who Cried Wolf, right? That's a famous book. Um, and then related it to Little Red Riding Hood and how the wolf was lying to her about being her grandmother, right? But these are the old tales that these old children books that have been rewritten by modern day writers, and the story changes. Same is true with the Bible, right? The Bible has been rewritten and rewritten and rewritten, and then each version is a little different. So it's kind of cool that I have them on my phone. I got 1,000 different versions, and gives me an opportunity to analyze it in different sentence structures and ideas, and just the changing of a word from bread to money to what else can bread be, right? Bread can be money, bread can be food, and food for thought. That's that knowledge. And then therein is where we're debating on what is the how is the Lord prayer supposed to be said exactly, and you got different versions, and some of them are talking about debt, being in debt with cash, and it's like that sounds kind of evil, right? It should be, we're supposed to get food, the food we're supposed to get, or the bread that we're supposed to get from God, the Lord, is supposed to be wisdom, right? And when we get our understandings right, then everything should be cool. Now I'm just starting this way just to get a good 5-10 minutes in, and I'm gonna do a little gameplay, I guess, and I'm going to share my new idea. Hopefully that don't fall apart, right? When it comes to my a new studio, right? So I'm designing a new studio. I'm still up in arms on what I'm going to use as my, like, either my me or my emoji, or because I'm not liking my Bitmoji right now. They done made it into an AI thing, and it looks kind of weird to me. I'm rocking him with a gray beard. I was going to use him inside of this one, but I was just like, I'll just take a quick picture with my, Animal Crossing me, MII, or whatever they call them on there, and with the light bulb on, and how I'm gonna design this new studio, and how I'm gonna utilize it when making videos like this, as opposed to the traditional me playing the game, but that's not even a tradition. It's my son rather me just play the game, talk about the game, and then you know what I mean. We don't want to talk about politics, religion, and science, but if we reviewing a movie like Superman, right? And it's about politics, science, and religion. Like Superman is the sun god, right? Just like Thor is the thunder god, and then we trying to relate the sun with thunder and how it changed over the years from Jesus to Jesus, right? And some faiths celebrate Christmas and others don't. Some faiths celebrate Easter, some don't, and then therein is like why I sit back and look at Christians like, why are y'all arguing over events for the children? Like, if it's Easter and Christmas has always been for the children, so why don't we just let the children celebrate and watch them celebrate and play a little video game with them, and and therein add a little bit of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But here come the rebels, right? Slam! They jump right into the scene, right? And it's the it's the boule. I shared one earlier on another feed, and I do want to get into the two videos so I'm 6 minutes in. I got two quick videos that I'm going to share. Tim Black, and I'm going to share, I think it's Tim Black and TD. I think TD Media Hip Hop. So I'm gonna share those two videos, and they're actually comedies, but they're the two newsmen, like they're independent newsmakers, right? So they try to be serious about the news, and I guess since they couldn't get jobs within NBC, CBS, because only the elite, quote unquote elite newscasters, and I do have friends that are on Fox. What station is he on? I'm thinking of an old high school friend, because my man Miz, I went to college with him and Larry. Miz is on Fox. What is Larry on? I think Larry might be on Fox too. Um, you know, and then they got to use aliases because what we say on, like they don't even say nothing on Facebook, or one of them has an alias. I like Volothamp is kind of like my alias, but I don't. Charles is my real name. Like that's my government name. So, and I share it with two other Charleses. Shout out to Pops and Sons, right? So they enjoying the last of the summer. School starts next week, and I just put this on here to let's move it a little closer, right? So, because the big deal is the 92%, right? And they're the ones that's talking politics, or they talking religion, or they talking divine nine, and it's like, y'all actually off code, right? Like we're crying about the job market, like these things weren't expected. That's why I'm sitting with the 17%, quote unquote 17%. That's not that's the men, and we're the ones that they're pointing at, like the TD Media, like the Tim Blacks, saying that we're pro-black militant. Like, nah, that's not our movement either. Like we say B1, and that means black first, but that means black people have been here since day one, day zero, right? When we say day zero is the year of our Lord, our Messiah. Some call him Jesus, some call him Yahweh, Jehovah. So many different names we give the Messiah. And I'm not an atheist. I believe, but hip hop has always been my my religion, culture, like a cultural religion. But now saying it's a religion, everybody wants to hate on that. Like, seriously, but and and it wasn't I never, as growing up a Christian, I never had beef with Muslims. Like I actually sat in a circle and just learned, listen. So that's why I was saying it's an Islamic Christian movement. Um, but we got this white Christian movement now going on, and it's the Muslims, blame the Muslims, blame the Muslims. But it's like, dude, we've been saying Malcolm X is number one, like then Martin Luther King, then who else? Well, I've been saying Kwame Ture, but then it's just trying to realize and understand what a martyr is. So that's where I brought up Fred Hampton as the third one, and then that's when you get the you're practicing anti-white racism. So it's like, wait, like what in the world? Like, what are y'all talking about? Like I'm not the one that's confused. They are. So that's when the Medgar Evers, John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, like I see them as martyrs too, and just discussing their lives. And so that's when I got the six names as that's the top six. They are the ones that baby boomers, children, us, Generation X, started to go hip hop, hibbity hip hop, what I mean? Don't stop rocking, bang bang boogie. Right? We started doing our thing. And it became genius. And people still hating on it. That's why it's funny, So it's who's the leader, who's in charge, and we saying B1, and it's like we're the ones that's full of hate. Like stop. So that's why it's changing the way it's changing, and I'll talk more about the 92% because Lady Boulay really have and that's an old percentage. That's one of the things we have to understand. That 92% is an old 1960 percentage. That's not this young generation. This young generation they ain't voting, right? They represent the so-called 17%. I'm saying there's way more of us than 17% of foundational Black Americans. That's what we're trying to call ourselves now. And we're saying that specifically because, all right, y'all want to start a new political party. Hey, let's call it Foundational Americans. But then that's when you get the hypocrites going, well, what about foundational white Americans? Like, stop. Y'all messed stuff up with this whole neo-colonialism and just opening up the borders and what's the other thing y'all call it? We call it the racism and form white supremacy as a Western psychological ideology, and then y'all took that idea and tried to flip that to anti-white racism. That's why we frustrated with y'all when y'all just want to steal our ideas every time, and y'all did the same thing with hip hop. Like, so now it's Eminem is the GOAT, and it's like Eminem's like, so stop disrespecting Black Americans. We trying to keep it simple. But then that's when Barack came out his mouth calling us African Americans. That's why it's burning down. It's burning down to the ground. And then the results of the fire is what? The hypocrites come out, the roaches, the cockroaches, right? Yeah. What is this girl named? Sanders and Al Sharpton, right? And then they like, Trump is evil. He's the one that's, he's trying to take over the neighborhood and yada yada. And then as soon as we be like, yo, what about us? Like, we foundational Black Americans. We've been talking about reparations for the longest time and this and that. And then that's when they just jump out and you're like, oh, you hate gay people. Like, what? Wait a minute, what? That's the cheat code. We can't forget about the LGBTQIA plus .DEI .PDF files. We can't forget them too. That's the cheat code. Right? That's where I'm stepping in as a game theorist. Like, are y'all peeping the game yet? That's why I'm really disrespectful to, and that's why they use Simone Sanders and people like her and because it's like I can't hit her because she's allegedly a woman, right? And then I can't smack Al because he's my elder, right? He's the old head, like he's the old pimp. He's still trying to be a pimp. And it's like, nah, y'all gotta stop all that because y'all keep stepping up, y'all keep coming into the game and then Y'all want to get on people's nerves and be the leaders and stuff. And then as soon as we start talking about being a foundational Black American, right? Then they start losing their minds, right? It's time for us to start speaking up, and it's not to follow foundational white Americans, right? No, the party should be foundational Americans. Once we start doing it that way, right? Then we can listen to what y'all can offer us to be with us, right? Either you with us, for us, or against us. And they out for themselves. That's why their whole argument is falling apart. Everything they talking about is falling apart, and what we have left is the community and the culture trying to reunion. We trying to reunion. We trying to come back together. You know what I mean? But they causing beef within it because they pointing out fake leaders like Umar Johnson, like he's a false prophet. Umar Johnson, we knew that, right? But that's what their false up. What's his name? I be forgetting their names. Well, Barack Obama's number one. Then I just had Roland Martin. He's the third one. Al Sharpton and Roland Martin. And then that's when Roland Martin came out his mouth. He put Umar in our group. Like see, that's the pro blackity black. See, they're pro blackity black. So let me get ready to share that. Right, I'm gonna share some of that. I said enough. So I'm gonna share some Tim Black and TD Media hip hop and play a little video game. I already gave y'all too much time. 16 minutes, 10. So I'm just gonna make it. I'm just gonna make my 30-minute mark. I hope y'all enjoyed this little presentation, and I'll get more into just the gameplay as soon as the kid comes through. We just gonna play a game, son, and talk about playing a game. We ain't gotta talk about politics. We can talk about a movie. We can talk about buying a new video game system. Saving up, fixing a computer. What math did you do in class today? We can go over examples with y'all and see if y'all can go along with it. Like that's what I'd rather do than complain about Trump. Like that's all they want to do is complain about Trump and not asking, Trump, cut the check so we can build something, have a good schools here. That's what we want to talk about. He wants to give us school choice. I like the high school my son goes to. And we love to be a part of the community. Instead, they want to gentrify us, right? And that's whack. So, but we'll get more into that understanding and argument and the debate and reasoning behind all that. But let me share these videos real quick. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share, and enjoy this content. So let me mute this and that. And
Lunch with the doctor. It's called Lunch with the Doctor. You make a $500 donation to FDMG Academy, ladies. $500 donation to FDMG Academy, and you get a free lunch with Dr. Umar, restaurant of your choice in the state of Wilmington, Delaware. I said we got a new program called Lunch with Dr. Umar. Private lunch. Ladies, you got to donate $500 to the FDMG Academy, and I will take you to lunch, private lunch, any restaurant you want in the state of Delaware. It's called Lunch with the Doctor, and it costs you $500. You don't pay for the lunch, I pay for the lunch. Any restaurant in the state of Delaware. Oh, yes. Brothers, don't hate. We got to stop hating. Brothers, we got to stop hating. Don't hate my ninja, because if I ask your wife if she want that luncheon, if I ask your wife if she want that luncheon, if I ask your baby mom, do she want that luncheon with the doctor, we know what she gonna say, ninja. Don't test my intellectual gangster. If I roll up on your girlfriend, your live-in prisoner, you call a girlfriend. If I roll up on your live-in prisoner, your romantic prisoner, you call a girlfriend, who ain't there because she want to be, she there because she got to be. If I roll up on your romantic prisoner, my brother, if I roll up on your romantic prisoner, you call a girlfriend who living with you because she got to, not because she want to. Do she want that lunch date with the doctor? Do your wifey want that lunch date with the doctor? I think we all know the answer to that. Me and you are not the same. I keep telling you that. Me and you, we not the same. You not 6'3", dark chestnut cocoa brown with the North Philly beard. You ain't Leo King. Ninja, you ain't Pan-Africanist #1. Nobody flying you to every continent to hear what you got to say. Only me. Don't make me take my t-shirt off and turn into King Kong right now. Don't make me beat my chest. Don't make me beat my chest.
Next on deck, the Chevy.
I will be honored when I walk into that courtroom on October 2nd. Well, my role is civil. But I will come back before you soon with a check for $250 million.
You stupid.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to head on over to New York City, aka New Venezuela. Why is that? Because I want to talk about someone that I haven't spoke on in a while. We have to talk about Letitia James, aka Big Tish, also known as Big Tush, the notorious B.i.G. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about her today. That was mean. I'm sorry. I did the notorious B.i.G. That went a little bit too far for my liking. All right, that went a little bit too far. After it came out, I was like, nah. I probably shouldn't have said all that, But anyways, we're talking about Big Tush. Okay, we'll keep it there. I typically call her Big Tush. We'll strike the notorious B.i.G. from the record, because Big Tush, man, she took a massive L today. Okay, let's regroup. Let's get myself together. She took a huge L today in the courts. As you can see here, Trump massive $500 million civil fraud fine in AG Tish James's case thrown out by New York appeals court. Yes, that massive $500 million fine was thrown in the trash by the appeals court. And despite that, Big Tush is still trying to pretend that this was some sort of a victory, and we'll get into that in a moment. But before we even dive into all that, what I want to do first is that I want to play this quick video here from Peter Navarro, which is Donald Trump's top trade advisor. I want to take a moment to listen to what he had to say concerning the $500 million fine being struck down by the appeals court. I thought it was very interesting, and it is relevant to the conversation. So I want to play that for you guys next.
What else you got? Anybody on this?
Lawfare today,
Yes, sir.
The New York Appeals Court has thrown out President Trump's $500 million New York civil fraud penalty. That was prosecuted by Letitia James last year.
Yeah.
The appeals court says it was, quote, excessive. What is your reaction?
Letitia James is another one that belongs in jail. Look, the Democrats, they really overplayed their hand on this because they thought they could take Donald Trump out. They didn't. And in the process, they totally destroyed American people's faith in our Justice Department. And they got him got President Trump a lot of votes because of that. I mean, the book I wrote about it, I went to prison so you won't have to. The whole theme of that thing is that I'm the wake-up call. If they can come for me, they can come for you. So people need to understand that these are bad people. Letitia James, Fonnie Willis in Georgia, Alvin Bragg in Manhattan. The question is, how coordinated were they? And that's a question that needs to be answered by an investigation. Eamon?
That's a very good question. And one thing that I found very interesting throughout the time that Trump's been in office so far, Alvin Bragg has been really flying under the radar lately. Been really flying under the radar. And I feel like there could possibly be something in the works for him in the future as far as an investigation is concerned. I'm kind of surprised that there hasn't been anything quite yet. But also, too, he's been remaining very low profile since Trump won, which is probably a good thing. You really don't want to be out here speaking. A lot of these folks like Big Tush were out here pumping up their chest and pounding on their chest when Trump won, talking real big. And she's still talking big, but Alvin Bragg said, you know what? I'm just gonna, duck down over here, and pretend like, none of this stuff pre-election as far as the lawfare is concerned ever happened, right? So now the focus has been, for the most part, a good deal of it mainly on Big Tush, especially concerning, all the mortgage fraud allegations, which is pretty much open and shut as far as I'm concerned. But I don't want to stray too far off topic. Let's get back over here, right? Because I want to talk about the massive L that Big Tush just took. So once again, the $500 million fine has been thrown out. Allow me a moment to scroll down and read a little bit of this article here. Then I want to pivot to a CNN clip very quickly, because I thought that what their legal analysis was saying in that clip was very interesting and worth listening to also. But first, let's dive into this article.
Dr. Umar is dead, y'all. He killed himself. Happened right there. You just saw it. He over. He crashed out. He over. His reign as big, goofy, dumbass, liar, shapeshifter, extraordinaire, misuser of black people's attention, pandering to sisters, ass moron, fake good guy, fake scholar, fake everything, fake philanthropist, fake activist, fake all of it is over. He crashed out. Anybody that was sitting on the fence wondering how to treat this guy, he's just told you. Anybody that was left with any morsel of respect for him, he just burnt it. He burnt it, he dug a hole, and he buried it deep. Hell, then after he buried it in the hole, he threw a stick of dynamite in the hole and blew up the hole. Then he put ashes on top of it and dirt on top of it. Then he stood his 6'3" broke ass on top of the hole and stomped the hole until the ground was flush. Now, Umar, you just crashed out. You just destroyed everything that made you important or interesting or pertinent or relevant at all. You just got rid of you. Somebody give the former Dr. Umar a round of applause. But I'm gonna say a few words about the man, because I think it's only fair, man, to address a couple things he said, even though I'm talking over a corpse at the moment. Dr. Umar, I don't know if they gave this out at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. I don't know if this has been the pamphlet. I don't know if there is a pamphlet for a school that don't exist. But let me add this. You said you asking black women to give you $500. Then you said you don't got to pay for lunch. You'll pay for the lunch. But fool, if they just gave you $500, they already paid for the lunch. Man, any woman, any sister out there that was even considering this, need to have her head examined twice. Go get it checked out once, and if they don't come back with a problem, get it checked out again. I question the results of the first test. The machine must be broke. Because if you're even thinking about spending $5 for Dr. Umar, something wrong with you. This moron recorded this or did this live, probably did it live. He said, if I ask your wife, if you ask my wife what? If you ask my wife what, sir? To send you money? My wife? I don't know who you talking to, sir. I don't know who he talking to. Yeah, man, keep your shit on the internet, sir. Careful. Then you start making up these scenarios. These women that you think is your girlfriend and something, this prisoner, you're a living prisoner. You should be trying to help her escape by giving her $500 to get away. You think somebody's a prisoner, Dr. Umar, it would behoove you to help them escape by giving them money to get away, not be with your ass, but to get somewhere safe. That's what you should be talking about. That's what you should be advocating for help to help them get to a safe place. Not to go hang out with your goofy ass in your pretend school, in your fantasy land, where you grift for a living. You know what, Dr. Umar, man, you're an entertainer. Why you just can't be an entertainer, man? Why can't you just continue to be an entertainer? See, the problem was you've been listening to you too much. You let a few shut-in cat ladies get your head souped up. You let a few women who hit the wall and thought you were the best they could do. And maybe you are, but that ain't saying much. You let them gas you up, make you think that you are amazing. Now, man, you are a hustler. There's been hustlers in the hood forever. There's been pimps, drug dealers, card sharks, numbers runners. The hood needed those things. Well, some of them, not the pimps, not the drug hustlers. Maybe the numbers runners.
Tim Jack, he's hilarious, yo. I mean, yo, there it is right there. As I fade back in, get the music back on, and I like this little melody. I'm gonna chop it up and really take it to new levels, and I'm at my 30-minute mark. I'm already 31 minutes in. So and this ain't even. I don't like the way this is vertical on this screen. But this is a pool game my dad is playing actually. So it's kind of cool that I finally got him to play something a little action. Like he only usually plays solitaire or things like that. And I'm playing the computer right now. Probably gonna kick my butt. Nah, I guess not. But this is a cute little basic pool game. And I can't do. What am I, high or low? Oh, I'm okay. I am high. I don't have a shot. Oh well. So no, I ain't got a shot. Let me see if I can. Maybe that. Let's try that. Ooh, pretty good. So yeah. There it is. And now, I something to play on the bus or play on the in the park or something like that. When my dad got it on he be out back playing it on his iPad. I'm sure it's beautiful on his iPad. So, but there it is, and we can go on and on about Umar Johnson or Big Tish in New York and why they coming at when that statue came out, right? That's the first person I thought of was Big Tish when they had that statue in New York of the modern black woman. Like Big Tish was the first one, and there was what's that chick name? I can't remember her name. And another heavy set lady. She went up to New York and the model, the other rapper, like what I mean, and yeah, those are the two women that they that most people thought of. It truly represented Lakeisha or Larisha Sherelle Thompson. Let me see here. Larisha Sherelle Thompson. That's who the statue represented. But unfortunately, Larisha was 5 teenagers, right? One of them was 21, or 2 of them, but illegal gang shot her down in Carolina, and ain't no Democrat gonna take a. They all jumped over to the Republican side. So let that party die. That's what I say. Let the party die. It's like you don't know politics. Shut up, you don't know politics. The parties die all the time. We used to have the Whigs, used to have other little parties or whatever. It's somebody else's turn now. The Democrats, they done messed up too much. That party is too corrupted to save. And yes, most of them, like Donald Trump, like what's her name? I forget people's name. It don't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather memorize the true heroes. My Rakim, That's who I teach my son. You know what I mean? Knowledge will begin until I finish this song, cause the rhyme gets rougher as the rhyme goes on. You sweat as you step about to get hype, or should you just listen to the man on the mic? Right? He said, take seven MCs, put them in the line. Take 7 rappers who think they can rhyme. It's going to take 7 more before I go for mine. Now that's 21 MCs. Like, peep the mathematics, right? That's 21 MCs ate up at the same time. That's Rakim right there. Those are some Rakim lyrics doing the mathematics, right? They used to call it supreme mathematics, right? So, there it is. I'm not here to argue with y'all about theology. Not here to argue with y'all about, it's epistemology, you know what I mean? And topology is that's way down the line. That's going to take a while before we get there. But I am introducing a little bit here and there. I am, drip drop. You know what I mean? I'm basically calling it algebraic logical theory right now. And I hope, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. I'll play some different game later on. I'll try to do 2 or 3 because I'm closing in on 400. I want to get to 400. Hopefully I can get by the end of the month because I think I only need like 20 videos, if that many. It might be 40 videos. But if I can do 2, 3 a day, and I hope y'all enjoyed this little presentation and see how they try to name us, but social studies is actually studying them and seeing how corrupt and dirty they are as we build this new nation, this hip hop nation, right? Under one God, our Father, all the time, hip hop life. One love, be happy just to have just one love, right? As God is love, hip hop is life, time is holy. Money. What people do for money. I think I did that for one video. I got to go back and see. Money is nothing more than a fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. Because whether or not you try to explain it using macro or micro, economics is nothing more than the art of making the most out of life. And that's hip hop. Peace.